Hello students, welcome to Maths class. In today's video, we shall discuss about operations on matrices. We can perform 4 operations on matrices. Number 1, addition of matrices. Number 2, multiplication of a matrix by a scalar. Number 3, difference of matrices. And number 4, multiplication of matrices. Let us discuss each operation one by one with the help of examples. Let us begin with addition of matrices. To understand addition of matrices, let me take one problem in front of you. The problem is, suppose there are two friends, Aman and Raman, and they have shops at different places. They sell two type of things. One is sports items and toys at their shops. Now they are selling three types of items. Like in sports they are having three types of items. In sports items three types of items are there, and in toys again three types of items are there, and both are selling the same types of items in sports and toys. So their selling quantity of the items is represented in these two matrices. At Aman's shop, sports items are of three types, and it is given that 85 sports item number 1, 90 sports item number 2, 35 items sports number 3 are the numbers of the items that he sold at his shop. And in toys again three types of items are there, and he sold 30 of item 1, 40 pieces of item 2 and 55 pieces of item 3. At Raman's shop he sold out sports items, item number 1, 90 items he sold, 80 items of type 2 and 55 items of type 3. And twice similarly he sold out 45 items of type 1, 70 items of type 2 and 55 items of type 3. So this is the selling of the sports items and toys in 1 week. Now they want to calculate the total selling of sports items and toys in each type of item weekly. So what should we do? We can find out their total selling by applying this thing. Like sports items, toys items, here I have taken the sports items and here the toys items. Item number 1, 2, 3 respectively. So what we need to do? We need to add this 85 and this 90 to get that how many items of type 1 from sports items was sold in a week. So these are 85 plus 90. Similarly, in sports items, item number 2 can be found out by adding 90 and 80. So this is the addition. Similarly, now if we need to find out the total items sold of type 3, then we need to add this 35 and 55 that we have added over here. Now let us come to the toys. In toys again type 1, in Aman's shop 30 items were sold, in Raman's shop 45 items were sold. So the total items sold are 30 plus 45. Similarly, for item number 2, 40 plus 70, and for item number 3, 55 plus 55. So, to calculate the requirement, means the total items sold, we need to add corresponding sports items with sports items and toys items with toys items. So, after adding, we are getting a new matrix as this matrix. So, this matrix now gives us that how many total items were sold in sports and toys in a week. Therefore, from this discussion, we came to know that addition of two matrices will take place when number 1, the matrices are of same order, and number 2, by adding corresponding elements. Of two matrices. Suppose we are having two matrices A and B, and let the element of A represented by Aij and elements of B are represented by Bij. Then to find out the addition, that is A plus B, we should add the corresponding elements. Means to add this one, A11 element should be added with B11, A12 element should be added with B12, A21 element should be added with B21, and A22 element should be added with B22, and so on. To understand it very well, let me take one example of addition of matrices. Here in this example, we are provided with two matrices, matrix A and matrix B. We need to find out A plus B. As we know that addition of matrices can take place when they are of the same order. So clearly, matrix A is of order 2 by 3, as well as matrix B is also of order 2 by 3. So therefore, it is possible for us to add the two matrices. So how to add? The second thing is we need to add the corresponding elements. So here A11 element is 2, and here B11 element is root 3. So therefore, the first A11 element of A plus B will be 2 plus root 3. Now 1, 2 element of matrix A is this one, and 1, 2 element of matrix B is 5. So 1, 2 element of matrix A should be added with 1, 2 element of matrix B to get 1, 2 element of matrix A plus B. So therefore, we are getting minus root 3 plus 5. Now 1, 3 element of matrix A is minus 3, and 1, 3 elements of matrix B is 1. So therefore, 1, 3 element of matrix A plus B is minus 3 plus 1. And similar wise, we can add other elements. It is 4 minus 4. Here it is minus 1 plus 7, and element 2, 3 is root 2 plus root 5. And this is the matrix A plus B. We can simplify it further by writing 2 plus root 3 first element, minus root 3 plus 5 1, 2 element, minus 2 is 1, 3 element, 0 is 2, 1 element, 6 is element number 2, 2, and element 2, 3 is root 2 plus root 5. Next, now let us discuss Second operation is multiplication of a matrix by a scalar. To understand multiplication of a matrix by a scalar, let me take one matrix A is equal to this, which is of order 3 by 2. Now, I need to calculate 2A, means I need to multiply this matrix A by 2. Then, how to calculate this 2A? This 2A can be calculated by multiplying each element of A by this number, that is 2. Means 2A is 2 multiply 2, 2 multiply 3, 2 multiply 0, 2 multiply minus 1, 2 multiply root 2, 2 multiply minus 2. So means after multiplication we are getting 2A as 4, 6, 0, minus 2, 2 root 2 and minus 4. So therefore the scalar multiplication is particularly like to multiply a given matrix by a scalar. This scalar may be any number. Maybe let me take the scalar as k. So means if we need to multiply a matrix with k, then we'll write it as Ka, and Ka can be obtained by multiplying each element of matrix A by k. Now let us take negative of a matrix in the sequence. As I told you in the previous topic that multiplication of a scalar matrix can be done by multiplying a given matrix by any scalar. So to find out the negative of a matrix, we need to multiply a given matrix A by minus 1. Means the scalar k is equal to minus 1 here. So therefore we will calculate minus 1 into matrix A, means we are getting minus A. So this minus A is the negative of matrix. To explain it, let me take one example. Let X be a matrix of order 2 by 2 whose negative we need to calculate. It means to calculate minus X, we need to multiply each element of this matrix X by minus 1. So therefore minus X is minus 1 plus 2, 0 minus root 5. And now this minus X is the negative of given matrix X. Next, let us discuss about difference of matrices. Let us have two matrices A and B, and we need to find out difference of these two. Means either we need to find out A minus B or B minus A. So the very first thing that we should apply is we can write this A minus B as A plus minus B, or if we need to find out B minus A, then we can rewrite it as B plus minus A. What does it mean? It means we need to calculate the negative of matrix B first in case of A minus B, and then we need to add matrix A with negative of matrix B. Similarly, if we need to find out B minus A, then first of all we'll calculate negative of matrix A and then we will add it with matrix B. Before taking example, we should note down one thing more over here, that the order of matrix A and matrix B should also be equal. Means difference of matrices is possible when the matrices are of the same order. So here we go with one example. There is a matrix of order 2 by 3 and another matrix B is of the same order, that is 2 by 3, and we need to calculate 3a minus b. Now let me explain that how can we calculate this 3a minus b. So this 3a can be find out by the scalar multiplication of a with scalar 3. So we are getting 3 2s are 6 and minus 3 root 3 minus 9, then 12 minus 3 and 3 root 2. So here just simply I have multiplied every element of a by 3 to get 3a, means I applied multiplication of a matrix by a scalar. Similar wise, I need to calculate minus b, means again I need to multiply this b with scalar minus 1. So minus b is equal to minus root 3 by multiplying every element of b with minus 1. It is minus 5, minus 1. Here we are getting 4. Next we are getting minus 7 and minus root 5. Now just simply we need to add these two. So by adding these two we are getting 3a minus b is equal to, now in addition we need to add corresponding elements. So therefore the first element 6 is added with one element of minus b, that is we are getting 6 minus 3. Next we are getting minus 3 root 3 minus 5. Next by adding these two we are getting minus 10. Then by adding these two we are getting 16. Then by adding these two we are getting minus 10, and then we are getting 3 root 2 minus root 5. So this is how to calculate 3a minus b. Now let us come to know about properties of matrix addition. There are 4 properties of matrix addition. Out of this, number 1 is commutative law. As you have studied commutative law in case of real numbers also, that if we are having two real numbers a and b, then a plus b is equal to b plus a is the commutative law for addition of real numbers. Similarly, for matrix addition, commutative law holds good. Means if we are having two matrices A and B, then addition of A and B means A plus B is equal to the addition of B and A means B plus A. So easily you can prove it by taking any example. Next is associative law. Let me recall you first associative law for real numbers. For this we need to have three real numbers, let A, B, C. Then associative law of addition of real number states that A plus B plus C is equal to A plus B plus C. Means we are just changing the position of bracket. And similar wise associative law is for matrix addition. Means if we are having three matrices A, B and C, then either by adding A and B first and then adding C to it, or by adding B and C first and then adding A to it. In both ways we are getting the same result for addition. Next property is existence of additive identity. Once again I will recall you existence of additive identity for real numbers. If A is any real number, then you should remember or you should know that 0 is the additive identity for real number A, because additive identity is that number by adding which to any real number, we are getting the same real number. Means any number, if we add to the given real number, then the value of that real number should not change. Then this number is called additive identity. So here 0 is the number that if we add to any real number, the result will remain the same real number, or it can be written as 0 plus a, means it should follow commutative law as well. So the same is over here in case of matrix of addition. If A is any matrix, and as I told you that there is one matrix we called null matrix or zero matrix. So now you can think that zero matrix is having its every element is 0. So if we add 0 to each element of A, then the result will remain same as the matrix A. So therefore, null matrix or zero matrix is the additive identity for matrices. So it means we can write this property as A plus 0. 0 means here it is representing null matrix is equal to matrix A, or it can be written as 0 matrix plus matrix A. So therefore, null matrix is the additive identity element or additive identity matrix for addition of matrices. Next is existence of additive inverse. Again, let us go for real numbers. Additive inverse in case of real numbers is that number when we add it to any real number, then the result is equal to, means we need to add something over here so that the result is the number which is our additive identity, means is equal to 0. So clearly I should write here as minus a. If we add minus a with a, means the real number minus a with real number a, then certainly the result will be equal to additive identity, or we can say 0. So similar wise here in case of matrices, if we add negative of a matrix to matrix itself, then the result will always be a null matrix. So means if we add A with its negative, then the result is a null matrix. So therefore, additive inverse in case of matrices exists and it is negative of the given matrix. Now let us discuss the properties of scalar multiplication of a matrix. So the first property is when a scalar is multiplied by the addition of two matrices, means after adding the two matrices and then we multiply it by a scalar, is equal to that scalar multiplied by the two matrices differently and then after that they are added. So result remain same, means K into A plus B is equal to KA plus KB. And in the second property, when we are having two scalars, let us say K and M. So either we can add these two scalars first, then multiply with the matrix A, or by multiplying K with matrix A and M with matrix A separately, both the scalars are multiplied with the matrix and then adding, then again we are having the same result. So means K plus M multiply by matrix A is equal to K into A, means K multiply by matrix A plus M multiply by matrix A. You can prove these properties very easily by taking any example of the matrix. Let us discuss multiplication of matrices, the fourth operation on matrices. To understand multiplication of matrices, let me take you to the example that I have taken in the starting to explain what is matrices. We have taken one situation in which baker want to prepare some cakes, pastries, cookies with flour, sugar and butter. Then we represent this problem in this shape and we call this as the matrix. Now let me add something else in this problem. Now baker want to find out the cost that he have to spend to prepare these cakes, pastries and cookies. For that he is having the cost of flour, sugar and butter per kg. And now he need to find out the cost that he has to spend for preparing cakes, pastries and cookies separately. So let us discuss this problem and we can solve this problem by using multiplication of matrices. Let us see how multiplication of matrices help baker to find the cost of cakes, pastries and cookies. First of all, let us think that whether is it possible for us to write this statement as matrix as well. Yes, we can write this in the form of matrix. How? Let us try to write this. So we find that we can write this information in the matrix form like I have written over here. Here cost per kg I have written of flour as 25, sugar as of 70 and butter as of 200, which is given to us over here in the problem. Now we know that we can find out the total cost spent on cakes by multiplying per kg cost to the total kgs of flour, sugar and butter that are used for making cakes. So if we need to calculate amount spent on cakes, then we can calculate it by 25 multiply 10 plus 70 into 4 plus 200 into 2, and this total will give us the total amount spent for preparing cakes. Then if we need to find for pastries, amount spent on pastries, we will write 25 into 12 means 25 per kg cost of flour multiplied by 12 kg, the total amount of flour we are using for pastry. Similarly 5 multiplied by 70 plus 200 multiplied by this 4 kg. So this after calculation gives us amount spent on cakes. Similar wise, if we need to calculate amount spent on cookies, we can find it out by multiplying 25 with 15 plus 70 multiplied by 10 plus 200 multiplied by 1. So in this way, after calculations, we can find out the amount spent by the baker on cakes, pastries and cookies. Can we find any way to write this multiplication in matrix? Yes, this will explain in matrix multiplication. Let us rewrite these two matrices in a different way. Let us write the two matrices in this way. Now, let me try to multiply the elements of first row by the elements of first column of other matrix. Means in the way, let me multiply this 10 kg with 25 rupees per kg. Means the 10 kg flour multiplied by the cost of 1 kg flour. Then we can write it as 10 into 25. So this gives us the cost of flour for preparing cakes. Then adding and multiplying this 4 kg sugar with rupees 70, that is the cost of per kg sugar, means this 4 multiply by this 70, and then again addition, and let us multiply this 2 kg with cost per kg of butter, that is 2 into 200. Now similar wise for pastries, let us multiply this 12 kg of flour with cost per kg of flour, means 12 into 25 plus 5 kg of sugar with per kg cost of sugar, that is 5 into 70, plus multiplying 4 kg butter with per kg cost of butter, that is 4 into 200. Similarly 15 multiplied by 25 plus 10 multiplied by 70 plus 1 multiplied by 200. Now let us compare this multiplication with the previous that we have done. On comparing the two, we find that both are same. So it means by multiplying two matrices in this way, we can find out the amount spent on cakes, pastries and cookies. Now by putting this calculation in matrix symbol and calculating these values, we are getting the result as 930, 1450 and 1275, and this is the new matrix that we obtained after multiplying these. What does it mean? It means rupees 930 is the cost for preparing cakes, rupees 1450 is the cost for preparing pastries, and rupees 1275 is the cost for preparing cookies. Let us observe one thing in this multiplication. We found that A11 element of this matrix get multiplied with 11 element of another matrix. Then 12 element of this matrix multiply by 21 element of second matrix, and 13 element of this matrix multiplied with 131 element of this matrix, and then we added them. What does it mean? It means the number of elements in row 1, or we can say the number of columns in this first matrix should is equal to the number of elements in first column, or you can say number of rows in second matrix. Only in that case multiplication is possible. Let us write a first observation. So first observation is multiplication of two matrices A and B is possible or defined when number of columns of matrix A is equal to number of rows of matrix B. Let us suppose that a matrix is of order m by n is there with us. So a matrix of order B, if we need to multiply these two, should be n by p, means the number of columns in matrix A should is equal to the number of rows in matrix B. Let us have second observation now. Here we have multiplied the matrix of order 3 by 3 with the matrix of order 3 by 1. Now what is the resultant we are getting over here? We are getting the result as 3 by 1. As the first observation was number of columns in first matrix should is equal to number of rows in second matrix. Now the resultant is the number of rows in first matrix by number of columns in second matrix. Let us write the second observation. Second observation says, if a matrix A of order m by n is multiplied by a matrix B of order n by p, then the order of AB is m by p. Means number of rows of first matrix by number of columns of second matrix. Let us take one example to understand multiplication. Here we need to find out AB. So first of all, as we find that multiplication is possible only when number of columns of first matrix are equal to the number of rows of second matrix. Here let us write order of matrix A is clearly 2 by 3 and order of matrix B is 2 by 2. Here the number of columns in matrix A is 3 and number of rows in matrix B is 2. So what does it mean? It means AB is not possible. So I hope you understood the first observation, that number of columns of first matrix should is equal to the number of rows in second matrix. Let me show you how. As you know that this 2 will be multiplied, means the first row should be multiplied with the elements of first column. So we can multiply 2 with 0, then plus we will multiply 3 with minus 1, but there is no element to multiply it with 4. So therefore this condition is must. Now let me try to find out BA. Means now let me change the question, and the question is find BA. So means we need to write B at first position and A at second position. Now the order of B is 2 by 2 and order of A is 2 by 3. Order of B we are getting 2 by 2 and order of A we are getting 2 by 3. Now the number of columns of matrix first means B is equal to the number of elements or you can say number of rows in second matrix, that is matrix A. So therefore to find out BA is possible. From here we are getting one more result of multiplication, that AB is not is equal to BA. As in this case, to find out AB is not possible, whereas to find out BA is possible. So it means it may be, if it is possible to find out AB as well as BA in any of the case, so it is not a necessary condition that AB will be equal to BA. No, it is not. AB may or may not be equal to BA, but in general we'll say that AB is not is equal to BA. It means commutative property of multiplication of matrices does not hold good. So now let me calculate BA over here. Matrix B is 0, 2, minus 1, 1. And matrix A is 2, 3, 4, minus 1, minus 6, minus 3. So we need to take care of order that we are finding out BA or AB. If we are finding out BA, then B should be written at first position and A should be at second position. We should follow the order. Now let us find out BA. So as we know, we will multiply the elements in row 1 with the elements in column 1 of these two matrices. So therefore, and we'll add them. So 0 multiplied by 2 will give us 0 and 2 multiply with minus 1 give us minus 2. So this is the element A11 we are getting. Means to say, when row 1 element multiply by the element of column 1, we are getting 1 element. Now we'll remain fixed with this row 1 element and let us multiply these row 1 element with column 2 elements in the same manner. Means 0 multiplied by 3, we are getting 0, and 2 multiplied by minus 6, we are getting minus 12. So when we are multiplying row 1 elements with column 2 elements, we are getting element A1, 2 of the resultant matrix. Now again, keeping the row same, let us take third column. So, and multiplying in the same way. So 0 multiplied by 4 is 0, and 2 multiplied minus 3 is minus 6. And when we are multiplying row 1 elements with column 3 elements, we are getting the element A1, 3. Now we have multiplied row 1 of first matrix with all the columns one by one in the second matrix. So we should observe one thing over here, that the row whichsoever row is multiplied by whichsoever column, the element is of the same name. Like when first row multiplied by first column, we are getting 1 element. When first row multiplied by second column, we are getting 1 element. When first row multiplied by third column, we are getting 1 element. Now let us go with second row of first matrix. So in the same way, we'll multiply minus 1 with 2, we are getting minus 2, and 1 with minus 1, we are getting minus 1. And the element is, which one it is? Row 2 and column 1. It means this element is A21. Now second row multiply by second column elements. In the same manner, we are getting minus 3 and it is minus 6. So this element is A22 because second row multiply by second column. Now the turn is of second row and third column. So in the same manner, minus 1 multiplied by 4 is minus 4 and 1 multiplied by minus 3 is minus 3. So clearly the element is A23. So I hope you understood that how the elements we are getting of the resultant matrix. Now we are getting the result as minus 2, minus 12, minus 6, minus 3, minus 9, minus 7. And order of the matrix is 2 by 3. Now let us discuss some properties of multiplication of matrices. The number one property is commutative law. In between, we have proved that commutative law does not hold good, means AB not is equal to BA. Next is associative law. Associative law states that A, B multiplied first, then the resultant multiplied by C, and A first of all by multiplying BC and the resultant is multiplied with A. These two are equal. Means associative law holds good for multiplication of matrices. Next is distributive law. Distributive law states that matrix A multiplied by matrix B plus C is equal to AB plus AC. So this distributive law also holds good for multiplication of matrices. Next, existence of multiplicative identity. Yes, there exists multiplicative identity I, which we call identity matrix. Let me recall you the identity matrix. Let me take of order 3 by 3. 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0 and 0, 0, 1. If you remember, I told you that identity matrix is a square matrix, in fact, in which all the diagonal elements are 1 and non-diagonal elements are 0. So, I means identity matrix is the multiplicative identity matrix for the multiplication of matrices. It means I into A is equal to I into A, and which is equal to A. You can verify these properties very easily by taking any of the matrices with the same conditions that I have just explained for the multiplication of matrices. Let us discuss one more problem to understand the topic very well. If X is a matrix of order 2 by n, let me write here, order of matrix X is 2 by n. Y is of order 3 by k. Order of matrix Y is equal to 3 by k. W is of order n by 3. Order of matrix W is n by 3. And P is of order P by k. Order of matrix P is equal to P by k. First of all, let us discuss about Py, that whether Py will exist or not, defined or not. So here order of P is P by k and order of Y is 3 by k. And we know that for the existence of Py, the number of columns of P should is equal to number of rows in Y. So therefore, condition is k is equal to 3 for existence, or we can say define Py. This is first thing. Second is Wy. Let us see the order of W. It is n by 3 and Y is 3 by k. So we find from here that the number of columns in W is equal to number of rows in Y. It means it is clear that Wy exists. Now, what should be the order of Wy? It will be n by k, because order of matrix is equal to the number of rows of first matrix by number of columns of second matrix. So, let us write these observations. K should is equal to 3 for existence of Py, and let us now write order of Py. Order of Py is clearly this is P by n, as just I explained it, P by k, because we are multiplying P and Y. So it is P by k. And just I have explained order of Wy is n by k. Now we need to find out Py plus Wy. So order of Py is P by k and order of Wy is n by k. The possibility of adding Py and Wy is when only P is equal to n, because we know for the addition of two matrices their order should be equal. So we can write Py plus Wy will exist when P is equal to n. So therefore we get two conditions over here. Number 1, k should is equal to 3, and number 2, P should is equal to n. In that case, it is possible for us to calculate Py plus Wy with order either P by k or n by k. This was all about the operations on matrices. I hope you understood all the operations very well. Try to do more problems. Don't stop. Keep learning.